notes and critical reception. We'll also be discussing the English release of the manga. But first, I highly recommend checking out my first 2 videos about Umaru-chan if you haven't already. Or don't. I'm not your big brother. Continuing from last time, this new season of the franchise, titled Himoto Umaru-chan R, was announced on April 8th, 2017, and met with celebration from fans and, well, distaste from others. Umaru-chan would return to TV for the fall season on October 8th, 2017, just 1 month ahead of the manga's finale. Umaru-chan R and pop culture parodies ranging from Yokai Watch to Detective Conan. While that's all well and good, there's a mysterious new girl added to the story. There are new character interactions that are meaningful to the story. There's character development? Well, shoot, this sounds like it should be an even better show than the first season. So the anime was a smash hit in the fall of 2017, just like season 1 was in the summer of 2015, right? Right? A little over a week prior to Umaru-chan R's debut, Sentai Filmworks announced it had once again licensed the series for its Western release. However, unlike Season 1, Umaru-chan's second season would not be available on Crunchyroll. Instead, the show would be simulcast on Sentai streaming service HIDIVE for every region they supported, except North America. Americans got stuck watching the simulcast on Anime Strike. Canadians, though, could watch it on Amazon Prime as they never got Anime Strike. Now what the hell is Anime Strike, you might be asking? Well, it was Amazon's answer to Crunchyroll that launched earlier that year on January 12th, 2017, for select anime TV shows and movies on demand. Some of the offerings were older titles like Death Note and Tokyo Godfathers, newer titles like The Great Passage and Chi Sweet Adventure, and simulcasts like Scum's Wish and Blue Exorcist Kyoto Saga. Why was Umaru-chan R only on Amazon in North America? Well, it's an Amazon Prime in Canada. This also went for many other simulcasts from the Houston-based company in 2017. Very poor timing. How did American anime fans respond to this streaming service? Pretty damn poorly. It was yet another service to divide the limited pool of anime. Funimation and Crunchyroll had the biggest pieces of anime pie, especially because months earlier they had entered a partnership to make more shows with ads. Until they weren't, when Hulu announced in August of 2016 it was dropping its free tier. And as mentioned, Sentai launched HIDIVE several months after Anime Strike's launch. So having another Anime Strike was riddled with issues, both on the platform itself and from Amazon's management of it. And every single issue affected Umaru-chan R in some way. 3 issues stand above the rest. 1. Some shows apparently had frame rate and picture quality issues. It was also finicky with devices like Google Chromecasts and even Amazon's own Fire TV sticks. Furthermore, the subtitling system used was not designed for showing subs for more than just the characters talking. Umaru-chan R fell victim to this as, 1. There are subs for things like signs, and 2. Just like last season's. If another streaming service says a simulcast episode will be up at 3 p.m., you bet your ass it's gonna indicate that in a post or something. Amazon though, if a simulcast episode was late, good luck figuring out days on Anime Strike, while international viewers got to see it right on time through HIDIVE. Why? Nobody knows because Amazon didn't respond to fans pinging them for answers on social media. Anime Strike got the subs at some point soon after. And 3, the understandably unhappy. In the discussion thread on Anime News Network announcing Umaru's exclusivity to S, or putting on their tricorns and singing Yar Har Fiddly Dee. And that's not even mentioning the multitude of people that wouldn't watch Umaru-chan R anyway because they hated the original season. Despite criticism, video jail. Amazon Prime users could watch the titles at no additional charge, including Umaru-chan R, so it was just one paywall. Oh, did I say no additional charge? I meant, haters, you deserved better than this. This was all horrible for Umaru-chan R, but HIDIVE finally made Umaru-chan's second season available in North America as well, on January 18th, 2018, over 3 weeks after the show ended. By that point, the anime was old news, and the move to the platform was not met with much fanfare. Adding insult to injury, there was a new comedy anime on the block, as Pop Team Epic debuted as a simulcast on HIDIVE 10 days prior. And was being simulcast on Crunchyroll. And was getting a simuldub on Funimation, thing Umaru was doing.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
exclusivity deal with Amazon for North American distribution, the poor reception and performance of Amazon's anime strike, the late release on HIDIVE in America, and the overwhelming popularity of Pop Team Epic all kneecapped any hope Umaru-chan had of repeat success. Add on the people that didn't like Season 1, and they're able. Let's find out just how tragic this story really was. Lucky for us, in effect. Honorifics were mostly a no-go outside the show's title. Umaru calls Taihei Big Brother and not Oni-chan. Ebina's Akita dialect is a southern accent. Sylvingford speaks in formal English, but there are some changes from the Season 1 subs. First, the subs this season followed suit with the English dub, having Ebina referred to Taihei by name instead of Oni-san like in Japanese, or Big Brother like the mysterious new white-haired girl this season. Meet Hikari Kongo, the top student in AP courses at Umaru's high school and little sister of Taihei's boss. Further adding to the theme of little sister, Ebina is Nana Ebina's older brother, and this chef hailing from Akita has a pet name by a chef. In Japan don't often call each other by their first names. The dishes okonomiyaki and natto, and even a show. The subs even adjust a couple jokes and references to get the point across to us Westerners. Like an adapted pop culture reference, Mirage Pokeham Explosive Birth Edition is a parody lifestyle, but his mysterious phone call suggests that he has ulterior motives. Regardless of who he's talking to about Umaru's lazy lifestyle, Alex calls Umaru Sensei, which is kept in the subs. But that's not all for Alex's, unique sense of nicknaming. When Alex was in, this is a solid translation and a great way for Westerners to experience the show. Speaking of episodes 1 and 2, he wrote how surprised he was that he enjoyed the first 2 episodes given his mixed thoughts on the initial season of Umaru-chan. Beckett noted the season has the same premise but, quote, may as well be an entirely new series, unquote. What seemed to sell him on the new season is the vignette where sent genuine heart and never went below a C+ with episode 10, an episode which he opined, in his words, didn't click with him. His final review paragraph has this excerpt. Just like the show that bears her name, it simply took Umaru a little while to find her feet and establish the right balance of selfishness and thoughtfulness. In doing so, she's become a heroine worth rooting for, and Himoto Umaru-chan R has become a shockingly sweet comedy that's absolutely worth watching. Jacob Chapman and Steve Jones, both also of Anime News Network, made their opinions apparent by bluntly titling a column, Why Himoto Umaru-chan R is Better Than the Original. The two enjoyed that the show has more heart than the previous season and focuses more on the girls' bonding. The good elements were kept, and the bad elements were improved. Alan Moody from Them Anime Reviews, who if you recall gave Season 1 a 5 out of 5, surprisingly gave Umaru-chan R a 4 out of 5. Despite still praising this season up and down, his reasoning for the missing star was not liking Alex's presence in the story, as well as the, quote, lack of resolution of an interesting subplot, unquote. Lastly, I Spy Alex of the Geekly Grind had a similar statement about the show's final episode. While his opinions are like other reviews seen so far, enjoying the characters being further explored and Umaru being less selfish and more self-aware, he dislikes that, 1, she throws that growth away in the final vignette, and 2, the plot feels incomplete. Many plot threads are left hanging, such as Taihei and Ebina's relationship. This ties into my experience with Umaru-chan R. When I first saw this season back in 2018, I had only read through a few volumes of manga scanlations in English and thought the season was good. Come this past watch through, I had read the manga in full, and it affected my perception of the show. Yes, Umaru-chan R is an improvement from the original season, but my opinion is more nuanced than that. R adapts manga chapters up through volume 8, obviously skipping many chapters since, well, there's only so much time and budget to make an anime season, and I'd assume the team would want to prioritize plot-related chapters. And that's the problem. A lot gets set up in the story, but we don't see the results. We get the setup that Kirie wants to be a storybook author, but it never goes anywhere. We have pieces of information about Hikari, who becomes relevant in episode 8 out of 12, but the main things we learn are that she's Taihei's boss's sister, has a history with Taihei, and develops a jealous rivalry with Umaru over his affection. We learn more about Sylphine's past, but there's an interesting plot detail that didn't have the chance to be established for anime watchers. Umaru-chan R felt like a teaser for something way more, even more so than Season 1. And I don't blame anyone on the anime staff. I'm sure there was hope Umaru would get a 3rd season and it ultimately never happened, much as fans still want one, myself included. Lucky for English speakers, there was one piece of good news amidst the drama of Umaru-chan R's messy release. The manga was finally coming out stateside. On September 15th, 2017, right before the debut of Umaru-chan R, Los Angeles-based publisher Seven Seas Entertainment announced they had acquired the digital and physical media license for the Himoto Umaru-chan manga in North America. The press release confirmed the first volume would hit store shelves and launch on digital platforms on May 22, 2018. At long last, Americans could get the full Umaru experience and see stories left out of the anime, plus eventually everything after Umaru-chan R. The English Umaru-chan manga was translated by Amanda Haley and adapted by Shanti Whitesides, with lettering by Carolina Hernandez Mendoza. Because it's not directly connected to previous translations, the manga has a mix of different aspects seen in both Crunchyroll and Sentai's versions, as well as some unique elements of its own. As mentioned, I have read every volume of this manga translation, and I have a lot to say about it since it's 12 volumes plus the bonus Umaru-chan G volume, which has some behind the scenes notes as well. For the sake of time, as this video is getting pretty long, please let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a bonus video where I talk about the manga translation in greater detail. Then I can finally have my dedicated section to the Oni-chan thing I alluded to in the first Umaru-chan video. I'll leave this section with this. If you like the Umaru-chan anime, you absolutely owe it to yourself to read the manga too. I won't spoil what happens, I can do that in another video. But all the points in my critique of Umaru-chan R were fully expanded upon in the manga, plus even more plot beats were established. The manga is what brought Kirie up from middle of the pack to being my favorite character in the series. And it's too bad people that started and ended with the anime won't be able to see that development. Volume 12, the final volume of Umaru-chan, was released in the US on January 5th, 2021, and Umaru-chan G, aka G1, was released not long after, dropping on March 30th that same year. There are other spin-offs of Umaru-chan, namely Umaru-chan S, which I mentioned in the last video, Umaru-chan N, and Akita Imoko, Ebina-chan. As of recording, none of these have official English versions, but hopefully we'll see them one day. I am recording this in 2024, and as of now, there has been no new Umaru-chan anime material from Japan. It's a damn shame there is likely not going to be another season. There's at least one, maybe two more seasons left in it depending on what the anime team would want to adapt, like if they would want to go back and adapt some of the stuff they skipped too. After the Himoto Umaru-chan manga had its final volume released in English, that appeared to be it for Umaru-chan content for Anglophones. It seems Sentai Filmworks was never going to dub the second season and or release it on home video. So this was the end for the Umaru-chan series in the West. Or was it? Let's skip ahead to the High Dive Industry panel at the anime convention Otakon in Washington, D.C. on July 30th, 2022. About 15 minutes into the panel, at last, many years after its end, and after many fan requests, Sentai Filmworks finally announced they would be dubbing Himoto Umaru-chan R. Next time, we'll look at the Umaru-chan R dub, its premium box set, yes it did get one, and the pros and cons of long gaps between dub iterations. We'll also be doing our wrap-up of this long series of videos. To anyone that is tired of me talking about Umaru, I promise the end is near, and we'll move on to a new topic soon. As always, thanks to all of my patrons and Twitch subs for supporting my videos, and a special shout out to the Mas Muchacho tier patron Coops. If you'd like to be listed here, have access to my supporter-only Discord server, and see videos before they come out on YouTube, please consider joining on either platform. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, share this video, and comment what you think of Himoto Umaru-chan R, any memories you have of the travesty that was Anime Strike, and any other topics you'd like me to cover in the future. This has been a fun series of videos, and I'm glad so many of you are enjoying this analysis of Umaru-chan, either as existing fans or complete newbies to the franchise. Also, please let me know if you want a manga translation analysis as a side video, because I'd be more than happy to make that happen. Either way, check out this video. YouTube thinks you'll like it, and I trust the algorithm's judgment. Until next time, take care.